सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Before we begin the class, we just felt like telling you this, suggesting this, that the chanting part that you learn, be it the suktas, be it the Veda part, be it Upanishads or Gita. So it's a very good practice too. It will be very good if we can keep this every day, like allot some half an hour for chanting, just chanting. It will be very good, a very fulfilling activity, a very meaningful activity, as you all know. Also, it can be a prayer. It's a prayer. When we chant, chanting is all, most of it's all in the form of prayers, and or in the form of prayer, or remembering the tattva, the truth of one's own being in the world. And also, you can use this to pray for others' welfare. This is, I feel it's very important, the ability to pray and the ability to pray for others. Right? If I pray for others, my needs, what I need, will be taken care of. If I feed people, my hunger will be taken care of. So that way, it's a very noble act, as you all know, to pray for others. I feel that it's a very important need of this time, present times. I don't know whether you have learned this Aikamatya Suktam, Samvada Suktam. Maybe later on we do that. Suktams like that, and also the Shanti mantras. It's a very good thing to repeat every day. You all know this Kailas Ashram here, and then this Mandaleshwar Mahamandaleshwar Swami is there. Swami Divyanji Maharaj. He keeps telling that keep chanting Shanti mantra. And also our Swamiji also keeps telling that keep chanting the Sahanavatu mantra and all that regularly. It's very, very important. It impacts our thinking, our mind, and also it subtle impact on the listener. And even if the person doesn't listen to that, no, it's definitely the sukshma, some adrishta is definitely generated. So it will be a very good practice to keep this chanting. You have chanting sessions now, every day you have. When you, on holidays also, don't give up. And this is my suggestion. And also, even after after you complete this study, this Adhyayana, this Vedanta study program, even after that, I suggest that you continue every day. Felt like telling you this. Okay. Now we'll continue with the Kaivalyopanishad. We have seen up to mantra number. In this sheet we have seen up to 11, and in our Sanskrit paper sheet we have seen up to 13. We have seen. Okay. Just to recap very briefly. Ashvalayana goes to Brahmaji requesting him to teach Brahmavidya, the truth of Atman, the truth of the entire creation. And then Brahmaji begins the teaching. This is the introduction, this is the beginning. And the idea of presenting the Guru and Shishya here is to indicate that it is learned. This Vidya is learned from a Guru. The Shishya, one finds the Shishya in oneself, makes oneself eligible for this, for receiving, for understanding, for retaining, and for owning, that assimilating that Vidya. One readies oneself, that is Shishya. And then that Shishya gains his Vidya from Guru, who is a Shrotriya and a Brahmanishta. This is indicated. And then he says, Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yoga Avehi. May you understand, may you know, with the help of these means such as Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana. Okay. And then he points out that this pursuit, the pursuit of fulfillment, freedom, is one of knowing, understanding. Of course, for one to know, to understand, one needs to equip oneself, purify one's own mind, ready oneself, and that is karma, etc., upasana, karma, seva, all that is all. Even to a great extent, even teaching, sharing what you know, what you understand, that also helps a lot in preparing, readying oneself for assimilating. Teaching, sharing does not help in, you are not listening for the first time then, but then it helps one assimilate. As you all know the story, right? A young man went to college, and then he wrote to his father saying that I make my teachers study well, learn well. And then after study he became a lecturer or professor, teacher himself, and then he wrote to his father, now my students make me learn well. So he wrote peculiar. So father asked him, what is this? So then he explained the situation. So sharing makes one understand better. So that's also a means. So one readies oneself. That means are all karma, upasana, seva, etc., etc., and so on pointed out. But this freedom, owning that freedom, fulfillment is only by vidya, that was said. Na karmana, na praja, etc., it was pointed out. And then Atma Swarupa was pointed out. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishitartaha, Vivikt, and then how to meditate upon, how to know, how to understand, what are helpful. In Sanskrit we call sahakari. Sahakari means which a help and aid is called sahakari. What are the sahakaris? That's also mentioned. Vivikta deshe, sukhasanastaha, etc. Choose a clean spot, clean place, quiet place, and then seated properly, etc. The aids are the necessary help. The sahakaris are pointed out. And then Indriya Nirodha, Mano Nirodha, other words, Sama, Dhamma, etc. That's all pointed out. And then Guru Bhakti, Swagurum, Pranamya, Bhaktya, Pranamya was pointed out. And then Atma Swarupa, contemplation, thinking upon one Swarupa, pointed out. Hrit Pundarikam, Virajam, Vishuddham, etc. pointed out. And then the three forms, three ways of contemplation. Recall that Saguna, Sakara, and then Saguna, Nirakara. Thirdly, Nirguna, Nirakara, Swarupa is pointed out. Saguna, Sakara is like Shiva, Vishnu, Devi, Durga, etc. Saguna, Sakara form.
भंडारा उधर 12 बजे कितने बजे तक क्लास?
12:30 तक।
अच्छा, फिर क्या बोल?
अब चलने दे।
ठीक।
मुझे भी पता नहीं था। ठीक। ब्रह्मा विष्णु etc. सगुण साकार. And then the Shastra Upanishad presents Ishvara is Sarva Shakti, Sarvajna, Sarvavyapi, etc. Dayalu. These are all Saguna Nirakara. There is no specific form for Parameshvara, but then gunas are pointed out. Sarvavyapi, Sarvajna, these gunas are pointed out. Sarvaguna, Saguna, Nirakara, Rupa also. That's also pointed out here. And the third one is Nirguna Nirakara. Nirakara, free from all limitations. Akara means form. Form means limitation. Desha, Kala, Vastu, the threefold limitation. Space-wise, time-wise, and then object-wise, entity-wise limitations. Nirakara. And then being Nirguna, free from, again, Guna also is a limitation, free from all gunas. This is the Swarupa of Atma, Brahman. This is pointed out in the mantras 8 and 9. And then 10 also, Bhuta, Yoni, etc. It was pointed out. 10, 11, all that was said. Then, as I listen to the teaching, I look at this way. It's not that I and I alone am Brahman. The truth is that everything is Brahman. Sarvam Brahma. Sarvam. The Upanishad says, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All that is here is truly, verily, Ishvara Brahman. Of course, Sheetdayan, covered in the veil of Namarupa and veiled in my avidya. But if I transcend, if I remove the veil of avidya, if I transcend in my perception, in my understanding, in my outlook, if I transcend the Namarupa limitation, then I comprehend that Sarvam Brahma. This is said in the Mundaka also. Brahma eva purastat, Brahma paschat. What is there in front is all really, really Brahman. And then what is behind, paschat, what is Brahman? Urdhvam cha, adaha, etc. In the Mundaka, we see very beautiful mantras we see. So, that I am the truth of everything. The truth of everything and truth of me is one and the same. That the Sarvat, it's called Sarvatma Bhava. The understanding. Even if I do not understand, I can deliberately do that, right? Deliberately. By my will, by my Shraddha, out of bhakti, I do deliberately. All this here is Brahman. This is a Bhava. Sarva Atma Bhava. I am the Atma of everyone. I am the Atma of everything. What obtains as this and this and this is only I. I only in a different name and form is known as this person, this object, that entity, this behavior, that phenomenon. In different, couched in different names and form, I am alone is there. I alone exists as you and you and you and you. This is the Bhava. Here, I transcend the Namarupa. I the Namarupa, you the Namarupa, right? That is, deliberately I transcend. That is, in my comprehension, I discount this. In Vyavahara, I may have to retain this. I may have to say, you come, you take this, I come. These are all Vyavahara. And in Vyavahara, I follow my own dharma, my own swadharma, I follow. Within my, the range of my swadharma, I follow in Vyavahara. So I don't transcend my swadharma in Vyavahara. Just because suppose I were to become a jnani, suppose I were a jnani, does not mean that I can be licentious. Licentiousness is never, it's not good for me, it's not good for the world. It's not. Therefore, may I be an ignorant person or a wise person, all the time I follow my swadharma within the framework of my swadharma. Remember that within swadharma I have a very great freedom. Swadharma gives freedom. People think that swadharma restricts one freedom. So your sense of duty, role, your dharma, do's and don'ts restrict me. This is a popular perception. That is not true. Swadharma makes you free. Swadharma makes me realize how free I am, really speaking. Even in Vyavahara, I am free. Okay? There is a lot of freedom in choosing and doing the correct thing. Right? That is Swadharma. So, contrary to the popular thinking is that Dharma restricts one's freedom. That is not true. That's not correct. Whereas Dharma only makes one realize that how free one really is. Right? And it's a great scope. Swadharma is a huge scope within which I am always right. Right? I am always right. My choice of actions, as long as they are in my Swadharma, within the range of my Swadharma, I am always right. Right in the sense, I am always within my Dharma. A choice A, choice B, one may be more beneficial, one may be more rewarding in terms of material or reward, etc. There may be a difference. Right? Suppose I do one job or another job. This job A may be more rewarding than, pay me more than job B. That is Vyavaharika result. But whether I do A or B, if it is Swadharma, within keeping my Swadharma, I am right. I am never wrong. I am never adharmik. I am not adharmik. I am dharmika. I am never. Therefore, I am always free. I am right. I am free. There is no guilt in me. I have not done the right thing. I have done the wrong thing. This sort of guilt, the burden of guilt, I don't have to bear at any moment if I follow my Swadharma. Therefore, here, even a wise person, a person of wisdom also, stays within one's own Swadharma for the sake of transaction. But perception of the wise person is that Sarvam Brahma, I am the truth of everything. So, Vyavahare, there is this saying, the traditional saying, Vyavahare Bhatta Nayaha. This is the saying, this is the teaching. Vyavahare Bhatta Nayaha. In Vyavahara, we follow Dharma. This is the meaning. Don't transcend, don't violate that Dharma norms. Norms of behavior, norms of choice, right? Interaction, etc. Stay within the great zone, the realm of Swadharma. Bhatta, Kumarila Bhatta was a great person given to propound Dharma, right? Kumarila Bhatta. So, the people who follow Bhatta's teaching and Bhatta's teaching, both are called as Bhatta. Bhatta's followers and Bhatta's teaching, both are Bhatta. So, Bhatta Nayaha. Nayaha is teaching. Of course, what is Bhatta's teaching? What the Sanatana Dharma is, what the scriptures say, what is your own Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma. That's general Dharma and specific Dharma. This is the Bhatta Nayaha. That one follows in Vyavahara. Vyavahare Bhatta Nayaha, it is said. Right. I follow Bhatta Nayaha, that is to say, my Swadharma in my interactions, in my expressions, in the way I look at things, etc. I may even follow Bhatta Nayaha, but in my understanding, there is the Tattva Chintanam is there. Sarvam Brahma. All these are all Ishvara, manifestations of Ishvara, nothing less. Right? Nothing else, nothing less. This is my Tattva Drishti. So, two drishtis, two perceptions, two outlooks I maintain. One is Dharma Drishti and the Tattva Drishti. The vision of Dharma and the vision of Tattva. Both are like my two eyes. This is my life. This is how I should do. This is what I should do. This is how I should live. And therefore, here it is pointed out here that Sarvatma Bhava, all are me. I am you, full stop. Right? I am you. You are me, full stop. In Tattva Drishti. And in Vyavahara Drishti, I maintain that Dharma, the norm. Right? And then I maintain the values, my character, my noble. I invoke my noble character, my higher nature, and then respond. Right? Ahimsa, Satyam, Asteyam, etc. Shamaha, Tamaha, all that I invoke. Okay. So, Sarvatma Bhava, looking upon everything as Atma. Remember, there should not be a confusion here, right? Vyavahara, in Vyavahara, I may retain, as far as possible, I may retain all this, all Ishvara creation, it's all Ishvara manifestation, I can retain, I can keep as much as I can, as much as it is necessary, I can keep. But I have to combine this dharma also. Swadharma also I need to keep in my mind. It's not to judge anybody, it's for myself. I stick to dharma, that's all. Right? It's not that, are you following dharma? Are you following dharma? If I am a disciplinarian, if I am a teacher, if I am a trainer, I may have to do that. That's part of my job. Right? If I am a trainer, I have to look for, suppose you are all trainees and I am a trainer, then I have to look that you follow the disciplines that you are supposed to follow. You need to follow. That is part of my job. It's part of my role. It's fine. But beyond that, it's not a judgment on you. I don't carry any judgment as an individual. To an individual, I don't carry any judgment. It's only a role. As part of a role is fine. I have to be very, very awareful in this. When we look at other people, when we look at people's behavior, when we interact, we have to keep this very, very clearly in mind. We have to practice this. What the role calls for, you do. Okay? Beyond the role, don't sit on judgment. Sit in judgment of a person or or a behavior or something. Need not. Okay? Right? This is just incidental. This is not part of what is presented in the mantras. It's not presented. Okay. So, Sarva Atma Bhava. There should not be a confusion here. We should not carry a confusion between the Paramarthika and the Vyavaharika. Right? I should not carry it in my mind. What is Paramarthika? I keep the Drishti, Tattva Drishti I retain, and then the Vyavaharika Drishti as necessary, as best as I can, I continue to do that. Okay? Tattva Drishti and Dharma Drishti. Paramarthika Drishti and Vyavaharika Drishti. There should not be a confusion. In me, I should not have a confusion. Right? It's very, very important. If I confuse between Paramarthika and Vyavaharika, then again my expression, I will be confused all the time. Should I do that? Should I do that? How should I respond? That confusion will be there all along. So, the Drishti, Tattva Drishti is for knowing. This is the inner eye, the eye of wisdom. Okay? And then this eye and then the expression, interaction, etc. Dharma I keep in mind. Not for judgment, but as the role calls for, right? As the role may call for, I keep to that. Okay. Right. So, Sarvatma Bhava, that is pointed out. Okay. And then incidentally, it was said that there is no other, repeated that there is no other way for this discovering the innate fullness. And we come to mantra 13. A repetition was highlighted in that Atmanam Aranim Kritva Pranavam Cha Uttara Aranim Jnana Nirmatana Abhyasat Pasham Dahati Panditaha. This we saw, the contemplation, the need for repetition. Sukshma Vishaye Abhyasaha Ishyate. With reference to matters which are very subtle, at the same time important, very profound, meaningful. Right? Something may be very profound but not meaningful, to be not connected to me. Economics, etc. may be very profound, but I am not interested. I am a simpleton. Okay. So, but then here it is sukshma, subtle, at the same time profound, at the same time very related to me, means to me, to my purushartha. And that vishaya, sukshma vishaye, abhyasaha, repetition, ishyate, is necessary. Necessary, abhyasa, repetition, practice necessary to the extent I need. We know how long do we practice, how long we keep on doing something, right? Till we get the result, that's all. How long go I go on taking bath? No? Till my body, I feel that I am pure, I am clean. Till then. How long go I on eating? No? Till my finger is appeased, till I tongue and stomach both are satisfied. That is it. So how long go I do on? How long I go on doing this practice? No? Till I get the result. What is the result? Purnatva, an abiding fulfillment, an abiding cheer, an abiding joy. Till I get that, keep doing that. And then in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan mentions aparikhedattaha. So don't despair. No room, no need for despairing. I keep on doing this and then nothing seems to happen, right? Nothing's changing in me, and then others don't change. This is a very common complaint. ये तो 12 साल से वेदांत पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, सुनते आ रहे हैं. I know this person has been listening to Vedanta for 12 years, 24 years, 50 years now, but nothing has changed. That is mean to say, the person has not changed at all. Very same anger, etc., etc. I see. We don't know. It may not be visible. So, when will the result, when will the effect take place depends upon my level of readiness, right? My preparedness, my karma, that is my sanchita, etc., what is in store, all that it depends upon a lot of factors. Nevertheless, I keep on doing, definitely the walls will break down, the blocks will definitely go. So I keep on doing this palaparyantam till I get the result. So it is very, very important to keep doing. Krishna says in that shanaihi uparamet buddhya dhriti grihitaya. Bhagavad Gita with shanaihi, slowly and steadily, but with a purpose. Do it. Identify my goal, identify the means, and then keep doing it. And then wherever necessary, whenever necessary, course correction, etc., whatever I need to take, whatever I need to. Some days I may need to emphasize on a certain sadhana, like ahimsa, I may have to emphasize so that I understand what is ahimsa, what it takes to follow ahimsa. Right? For me, I need to be intimately familiar with that. What it takes to follow ahimsa, what it takes to be truthful, what it takes to be simple. I need to be very, very intimately familiar with that. I have to familiarize myself with that. So, some days I may focus on ahimsa, some days I may focus on just simplicity, some days truthfulness, some days giving, right? I may focus on that. But whatever that is necessary for my growth, I need to integrate into my being. So, all that is all necessary. Atmanam aranim kritva pranavam cha uttara aranim. Dharma, this shravana, etc., shravana, manana, nididhyasana, I keep doing. Then by that, udita, that is Atma Bodha, jnana nirmatana abhyasat. By this abhyasa of nirmatana, by churning of this knowing, understanding, abhyasat, panditaha, the wise person, pasham dahati, burns up all the bondages, all the notions of bondages, they are all gone. As we see in the Gita, like jnana agnihi bhasmasat kurute yatha yedhamsi, etc. we see. Okay. Now here, this meditation, this contemplation on one's truth, the truth of all, is presented here in various ways, which we call prakriya. There are the ways of presentation, the ways, helpful ways, relevant ways by which I can understand a subtle thing, an important thing. This is called prakriya. Prakriya is a method of presentation. Presentation of this truth. There are many prakriyas followed, and some are important, some are very popular, and then as with the passing of time, with the passing of new generations of teachers and students, sishyas, new prakriyas also come up. But we have to see, is it relevant? Is the prakriya useful? Is it relevant? And does it lead to the teaching, the unfoldment? Does it lead to unfoldment? Does it help one understand the vision of Vedanta Shastra, which is my Purushartha? What Vedanta Shastra teaches is my Purushartha. Does the prakriya, does it follow? Is it in keeping with that, these two norms? My Purushartha, that is moksha, and the vision of the Shastra. Is it in keeping with that? So there are many prakriyas. One such prakriya is the avastha traya vichara or avastha traya prakriya. Avastha, the normal experience, normal day-to-day experience, avastha, the conditions or the states. That is the avastha, the state, right? The state of being is avastha. Do not take it as a state of consciousness. It's popularly translated as state of consciousness. I would not prefer that expression. I would rather prefer state of being simply, that's all. State of being, state of experience. Traya, the threefold. This is very well known, common. Waking, dream and sleep. An analysis is presented in the Mundaka Upanishad, in the Mandukya Upanishad we say this, Avasthatraya, and then that is predominantly in that, and then in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also there is this Avasthatraya analysis is done, presented. Not in every Upanishad, but in some we do. And then in Bhagavad Gita there is none. Avasthatraya is not at all talked about. There is no mention of Avasthatraya in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So it's not a rule that all the prakriyas must be mentioned in all the books. It's not necessary. In some Upanishad you find this Avasthatraya prakriya, like in Kaivalya. Here we are going to see the Avasthatraya prakriya. In Mandukya we see Avasthatraya prakriya. And there are other prakriyas, such as the Panchakosha Viveka is there. Annamaya Kosha, you know this, Annamaya, Pranamaya, the Panchakosha Viveka is there. That is there we see in the Chandogya Upanishad and also in the Taittiriya, elaborately we see that Panchakosha Prakriya, Avasthatraya Prakriya, etc. These are there. We are not committed to Prakriyas. Our Tatparya, our final import is not in the prakriya, is not in the per se, it's not in the prakriya. We are not committed to any prakriya. We use prakriya, that's all. Like even, suppose I need to say I want to eat. I am hungry, I want to eat. Okay. So serve food. To serve food, now I use a ladle, I use a spoon, serving spoon I use a spoon to serve food in a plate, etc. So, prakriya is like using tools, right? Like using the upakarana, like spoon, etc. Using like that. We are not committed to prakriya, but we are committed to the tattva, the tatparya we are committed to. We take prakriyas which are useful, which keep the tatparya intact. We are not against any prakriya. I am just saying this, okay? The concept, when it comes to the concept of prakriya, we are not against any prakriya. But we see to that the tatparya, the final import, what is intended by that method of unfolding. Is it my Purushartha? Is it in keeping with the Upanishad teaching? Is it keeping with the Jiva Brahma Aikyam? Jiva Brahma Aikya, in other words, fulfillment, a life of fulfillment, right? Is it the final tatparya? Is it the Purusha? Is it in keeping with Purushartha? Is it in keeping with the teaching? Yes. Then that I can take to the prakriya. Now, different people have different leaning preference for certain prakriya. One may like avastatraya prakriya more. Another person may like panchakosha prakriya more. That is to say, like means that makes sense. Connects the person is able to connect to the teaching, right? May be able to understand. Certain doubts are resolved for a person. So a person may like a certain prakriya. That does not mean, underline, that does not mean that avastatraya prakriya is superior to panchakosha prakriya, right? There is no question of superiority or inferiority among prakriyas. This is my thinking. No, there is no superiority or inferiority among prakriyas. I may like a certain presentation, right? But then, whatever be the prakriya, my commitment is to understand what it finally comes to say, what is the final intention, what is the final teaching. We have to keep that in mind. So, we don't have any partiality for any prakriya, right? And we don't get stuck in a prakriya. I say this, a lot of people get stuck in the prakriyas. Okay? I like this, I learned this, and then I get stuck in this, and then beyond that prakriya, out of this framework, a prakriya gives a framework. Avastatraya talks about the three states of being, waking, etc. It talks about. One may get stuck in that, and then if I try to analyze everything in that framework, it may not answer, it may not fulfill, it may not give satisfactory answers to the questions, all the questions. Right? Understand that every prakriya is limited in its scope. It has a framework. Within the framework, it's very, very good. It answers everything that falls within that framework. Right? Outside of its framework, it's very poor. It's incapable of answering questions. Right? Like even avastatraya, when you say, then from that, using that prakriti avastatraya, how does this world create, how is the Ishvara Srishti, the world creation, etc. explain? The Panchabhuta Prakriya can explain that. Avastatraya cannot explain how the external universe is created. It cannot explain. Right? So, every Prakriya is a framework, and it answers points, relevant points, for me to understand, for me to integrate into my understanding whatever that is necessary, whatever a Prakriya can provide, it gives within that framework. That's very, very important. Otherwise, what will happen? I will try to apply Avastatraya Prakriya for Srishti. That is not correct. It can't do that. Simply can't explain Srishti. My mental imagination, etc., it's possible. But then, how is this world come into being? The universe comes into being. That Avastatraya cannot explain. Simply cannot explain. So we take the help of all the relevant prakriyas, necessary prakriyas, and then we integrate. Okay, what this has to say, I take, and what the other prakriya can say, how it can help me understand, I take help. Okay, this is how we proceed when it comes to prakriyas. Remember, nothing is inferior or superior in the reference when it comes to proper prakriyas. Improper prakriyas we don't need, that we don't take to. But whatever that is presented in the Shastra, in the Sampradaya, we take to that, and then we remember that we don't get stuck in any one prakriya. We are not committed to prakriya, we are committed to the vision. We are committed to our Purushartha. Okay? Here, Avastatraya is presented here, the three states of being. Now there are some questions. When it is that I am Brahman, I am Atman, which is ever free, which is not limited at all by anything, by what I do, but what I experience, I am not limited. This is a popular conception that the people think that I am limited by what I am. I am limited by what I experience. Right? What I think, what I experience, I feel limited. This is not the truth about myself. Even when I feel limited by my own experiences, by my own sense of my notion about myself, I am limited. Even when I think so, I am not limited really. Remember the Gata Akasha, right? The Akasha in the pot. Even if it were to think that I am a very limited, finite Gata Akasha, right? Even then, it is not limited. But Akasha is not limited at all. This is the beauty, this is the truth. Remember, truth is something which does not change with the time, does not change from person to person, and in fact, it does not even depend upon whether I know or I don't know. It does not depend. It's a standalone. Truth is standalone. It does not depend upon whether I accept it, right? Whether I approve it, right? It does not depend upon. Like even 2 plus 2 is 4 now. I ratify. I certify that 2 and 2 is 4 now. It does not stand. That mathematical, the arithmetic truth does not depend upon my saying yes or no to it, right? So I can be wiser if I understand the truth and then apnana, I own the truth. Then I am wiser, that's all. So I benefit from owning the truth. The truth does not benefit in any way by my certifying it or it's not come to any harm by my rejecting it even. I say 2 and 2 is not 4. It's not affected at all in any way. I only stand to lose if I reject the truth. Therefore, here is I become wiser when I own this truth. Okay. Now, even when I think that I am limited, I am subject to harm. I am harmed. I come to harm. I come to grief. I suffer, etc. The truth is that I am free. So too, I am limited, I think, but then it is not so. So, why is it that I am limited? Why is it that I am subject to grief? Why is it that I am small? These are all popular questions. FAQs. Okay? The FAQs, frequently asked questions are there. And then, if I am one, if Atma is one, how is that many? The Nanatva. How is that there are many? And then, if Ishvara creates, where is Ishvara? How is Ishvara? How am I related to Ishvara? Is Ishvara one or many? A lot of FAQs. And then, how? And then Shastra says, Brahma Ekam, Ekameva Advitiyam, one and only, Brahman Ishvara. If Brahman is one, how is there? How do I see? What do you call that? Duality, right? Manifoldness. That how do I see? Duality, how do I see? If I am one, then why are you there? Why do you exist? Because I am Atman, I am one. You have no right to exist. How can you also be there? You also say, I am Brahman. How can there be two Brahmans? How can there be duality? Either you have no right to exist or I have no right to exist. But I think you have no right to exist. Okay? Because I am non-dual. How is it that there are many? A lot of questions are there. And then how come if I am free, if I am Brahman, when I am Brahman, Atma, which is ever free, how is it that I am subject to grief? Why is it that I feel I am small, I am a samsari, I am a jiva, how is it there? This prakriya, avasthatraya prakriya, attempts to answer this, present the answer. Right? Okay. So, all this lot of questions are answered in this. We all go through these three states, right? Waking, dream, sleep, all the time we go through, every day we go through. But the Upanishad uses this, our common experience. Nobody can deny this experience. Nobody can have, nobody has slept, nobody has ever slept, nobody has dreamed. We all have, it's all common, it's all universal experiences. Remember, it's not going into psychology, it's not going into dream analysis. No, we are not going into that. But then we are going into that. What does it indicate? There are people who look into dreams, dream analysis, etc. We do. Psychoanalysis, they do. Of course, that's very useful, yes. But then that is a vyavaharika use. A use which is a vyavaharika, purely vyavaharika. to improve one's feeling about oneself, notion about oneself, image about oneself, and then thereby the interaction, how one interacts with others, this may help, right? But then here we are not looking into a vyavaharika use here, we are looking into the Paramartha Swarupa of Atma. Therefore here it's a different way. We are not going into an analysis of any particular experience, right? Which a particular dream experience of a person, we are not going into that analysis. That is a field realm of psychoanalysis, etc. Not here. That's not the prakriya. Okay. So just everybody's experience, waking, dream and sleep. And in that, how does it come about this? And then what happens? A sketch is given. Not you want 100% detailed account, is just impossible to give, but a sketch, an outline is given. How this happens is given in the following mantras 14, 15 and 16. So, mantras. Okay, we will start looking into this. Mantra number 14 in this Sanskrit part. Did we go through the Sanskrit commentary also for mantra 13? We have seen. Okay. Now we will start that. The Acharya introduces this mantra with this line. Nanu asya asangasya udasinasya. I'm reading from this Sanskrit, this one. Mantra 14 is there, and then just above that, that's an introductory line. Advitiyasya kutaha samsaraha pasharupaha iti ataha aha nanu. You all know by now, nanu means question. Okay. We had a friend, just an aside, okay? We had a friend who used to ask questions, a lot of questions he used to ask. So we named him Nanu Chaitanya. Nanu Chaitanya. Brahmachari Chaitanya name is given, Divya Chaitanya, Satya Chaitanya, Nanu Chaitanya. But this Nanu generally means a question. But sometimes in the Bhashya we find the answer also. The answer should not a Purva Paksha there, not a question, not a Purva Paksha, not an objection, but an answer. So that in sometimes we see in the Siddhanta also. Purva Paksha and Siddhanta. In the Bhashya you see Purva Paksha and a question, an objection. Not necessarily an objection, a question mostly. And then the answer called Siddhanta is given. In the Purva Paksha we see the Nanu. Here this Purva Pakshi, the questioner is asking Nanu, now, asya, of this, asangasya, who is free from any sangha, any association, not untouched by anything. This is what you say, this is the teaching, Atma is asanga, Atma is untouched by any of the experiences, right? It's like the adhara, like the space it is, it upholds all experiences yet unaffected by any of these experiences. This is very, very difficult to comprehend, really understand. I am not affected by what I experience. Right? I means not that jiva, not the chidabhasa, not my notion about myself, but I the Atma, I the free entity, I am untouched by any of the experiences what I see. That's all agama, payi, etc. And not only agama, payi, I am asanga, I am untouched by experiences. This is the truth. But then, that is not what I feel about myself. Experiences are very intimate, like toothache, very, very intimate. If you had a toothache, you would know what it means, okay? If you had a backache, if you have, what do you call that? What do you call that? No, not itching. What do you call that?
Cervical progress.
Spondylite. When you have, if I have spondylitis, I would know what it means. Very intimate, toothache, very intimate. Nothing will work at that time. You bear the pain, nothing. The whole personality is behind after that pain. It's so intimate, so immense, so intense it is. Can't forget for a second, I can't forget. For a moment, I can't forget it. Even if I have to laugh, with painful laughter will be there. So such intimate are the experiences that it is hard for me to comprehend, to understand that I am not touched by this experience. It's very, very hard. It takes a lot on my part, to really see this clearly that I am not touched. I am the witness, I am the ever untouched, pure Atma. It takes a lot to understand. Therefore, the questioner asks, you say Atma is Asanga. Asangasya. Okay. And not only you say Asanga, it is Udasina. It's uninterested, uninvolved. Udasina, uninvolved with what's happening. And that's not my experience. That's not what I think about myself. Right? I am involved in what I think. I am involved in my thinking. Right? Without me, if I am not involved, where is my thinking? Where is my speech? Where is my doing? Where is my experiencing? So I am involved. Whereas you say Atma is Ud Asina, remains above. Ud means above. Asina, seated. Seated above means remains above. Is not involved in any of this. Udasinasya. And further you say Advitiyasya. Atma is Advitiya, you say. But all that I see is only Sadvitiya. It's not Advitiya, it is Sadvitiya. Duality alone is I perceive. I live in duality, I live among duality only. Every experience confirms only duality, Dvitiya only. I am different from you. All the experience, that's what it confirms, seems to say to me. And I also feel also, not that you say that, but I also feel that there is Sadvitiya, there is Dvaitam is there. That is the truth of all. That's what I feel when you say so. Advitiyasya, Asangasya, Udasinasya, Advitiyasya. For this Atma, Atmanaha, Kutaha Samsaraha. How can there be this samsara? Where from? Kutaha. From where? From where samsara comes? Or how samsara comes? How can be the samsara? There cannot be any samsara for this Atma. Why? Asanga, Udasina, Advitiya. It cannot have any samsara. Kutaha samsara. Yeah, what is your problem in having samsara? Because samsara is unpleasant. Pasha rupaha, he says. Pasha rupaha, in the form of bondage. In the form of bondage, limitation, suffering. Iti. This is the question. How can there be samsara? If Atma is Advitiya, Asanga, Udasina, how can there be samsara for this individual, for this self, for Atma? Iti. This is the question. Ataha. Towards that question, for that question, Aha, the Upanishad, the Acharya, the Guru says here. Okay. This is the usual style. Nanu indicates the question, and then Iti, up to that Iti, up to Iti is the question, and then Ataha Aha. For that question, when this is so, then this is the answer is given. Aha. Okay. Mantra. Sa eva maya parimohitatma shariramastaya karoti sarvam striyanna panadi vichitra bhogaihi sa eva jagrat paritripti meti. Once again. Sayeva maya parimohitatma shariramastaya karoti sarvam striyanna panadi vichitra bhogaihi sa eva jagrat paritripti meti. Just do the sandhis. Saha eva Maya parimohitatma is one word. Maya parimohitatma. Then shariram asthaya karoti sarvam. Then stri annapanadi vichitra bhogaihi, one word, the whole thing is one word. Then saha eva jagrat paritraptim yeti. Now the anvaya for this part will be sa eva Maya parimohitatma san. We can add the word san just to clarify. Maya parimohitatma san shariram asthaya sarvam karoti. Sarvam karoti. Kama saha eva, or the next line, saha eva striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi. Saha eva striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi jagrat paritriptim. That is one word. Jagrat paritriptim eti. Okay. Saeva maya parimohitatma san shariram asthaya sarvam karoti. Sahaeva striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi jagrat paritriptim eti. This is the simple anvaya. Okay. Now the word meaning and then the mantra meaning tatparya. We will continue. Om Bhadram karne vishnuryama devaha Bhadram pashyemakshayajatraha Sthirairangai stushtavarusastanovi Yashema devahitam yadayuho Swasti na indro vridhashravaha Swasti na pusha vishvavedaha Swasti nastaksha arishtanivi Swasti no brihaspati dadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.